It's time for Wrestling What Ifs. Larson, you have the Money in the Bank briefcase. What is our first Wrestling What If for the day?
Well, these I can read.
I made them. I increased the font significantly just for you.
Oh, Queen Josephine of the North. What if putting Brett over at SummerSlam 93 had worked for Hogan, brother? So I guess Hogan, let's go back to King of the Ring 93, which was Hogan's last.
Well, let's go back to WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 9.
So Hogan comes back. He's looking like a different person because he's on a different cycle of drugs.
Or not on him anymore.
Or not on him anymore because he's
got a shiner. He's got a black eye.
Right.
For some reason, was it a jet ski accident? Did someone sock him in the face?
Oh yeah. So he shows up, and Bret Hart's like, "Hey, this is when I'm going to win the title against Yokozuna."
Yeah, Yokozuna. Yeah, WrestleMania 9 main event. Yeah.
Win it from him, or did Bret lose it to him? No,
he lost it to him
because yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because of the
Bret walks in as champion.
Yeah,
he's going to beat Yokozuna, get the Yokozuna rub, right?
No, I feel like Yokozuna walked in as champion.
Oh hell, hold on a second.
WrestleMania 9. I think we know this. We have a wrestling podcast.
Bret was champion at Royal Rumble 93, where Yokozuna won. Yokozuna won the Rumble.
That's right.
So he walked in. Okay.
Okay, so Bret walked in champion. Gotcha.
All right. So WrestleMania 9. Bret walks in as champion. He's like, I'm going to get that Yokozuna rub. I'm going to beat the guy who won the Royal Rumble. Was that supposed to be the idea?
Yeah, he's going to successfully defend the title from against Yokozuna, yeah.
Regardless of what was told to him by Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan showed up and Bret Hart was like, whoa, wait a second, what's this? Little did he know Hulk Hogan had, on the down low, won the very first Money in the Bank. Because what happened was, exactly, right there. Because what happened was, after Yokozuna cheated to beat Bret Hart in the main event of WrestleMania 9, Hogan comes in to cash in.
Well, I mean, the idea that he was there to right the wrong that had just happened, and by righting that wrong, he got a title match for himself rather than another one for Bret.
I like my headcanon better.
That's fine.
Right. Okay, so Hogan comes in and he wins the title. Bret Hart gives him the go-ahead. He's like, yeah, fine. I still can't see anything. I don't know who you are.
Exactly. To be fair, Bret just had powder thrown in his face. He's like, I don't know who you are. I got adrenaline, coursing through my veins to, being in this match against Yokozuna.
Just lost my title. I'm in a bad mood.
I know. Is this Owen? Sure, Owen. Go in there. You get to win the title.
Get in there. So Hogan gets in there, wins the title in like record time.
Yeah.
And then he had told, in advance of this apparently, he had told Vince and Bret, I'm going to do the job for you at SummerSlam 3 or 4 months from now.
Yeah.
And you get the Hogan rub, which we all know is much better than the Yokozuna rub.
On Hogan's way out.
Right, exactly. So, because he was already retired back in 92, but he came back in 93 to re-retire. So,
well, it was because he was going to be on the European tour. They wanted the belt on him for added value.
Okay, we're not going to go there. So, instead of all that happening, at King of the Ring 93, in front of the smallest attended pay-per-view audience at that point in WWF history, Hulk Hogan drops the title to Yokozuna instead after there was like the flash bomb thing or whatever it was.
And then Bret had to wait till the next WrestleMania to beat Yokozuna for the belt.
Exactly. After losing to Owen Hart earlier in that WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So what if Hogan actually was okay? What if he thought Bret Hart can lace my boots? I will go ahead and lose to him at SummerSlam. So at King of the Ring, I guess
Hogan would have defeated Yokozuna.
Right. Yeah.
Wasn't there a flash bulb involved with that?
I think that was the flash bulb.
Yeah, the exploding flash bulb. So instead of Hogan being blinded by it, he gets out of the way. Yokozuna's blinded by it.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Boot, leg drop, 1, 2, 3. Hogan retains. We go to SummerSlam. And the base of the story is like, how about this? Someone gets some inspiration. And they're like, you know what? We should kind of do like a meta shoot-inspired thing where Bret has a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He says, Hogan, you came out of WrestleMania 9 to right a great injustice, but only get a title match for yourself. Not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool, Hulkster.
What about this? What if he comes out in advance of SummerSlam, like after King of the Ring, he comes and says, hey, I just realized I was sitting here thinking, how does this guy have the title in the first place? And then I go back and I was watching a VHS videotape of WrestleMania 9, and I realized that guy who came out there was you.
Coliseum home video.
Coliseum home video. I like it that they had special stuff at the end of it,
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, Hulk, I realized it was you. I thought it was my brother Owen. But then I was like, hey, Owen, why don't you have the title? And then he's like, what are you talking about? It was Hogan that came out there. I was like, what's Hogan doing out there?
Yeah.
And so he's got beef because he just put it together that Hogan is the guy that stole that match at the end of WrestleMania 9.
This is like a week before SummerSlam.
It took him 4 months to realize.
Well, I mean, it takes a while for the videos to be released after pay-per-views back then.
That's right. Hey, the Coliseum home video just came out. You can buy it right now for $89.99.
Yeah, he does that. He does a vignette where he's walking through a Blockbuster video and says, "Oh, not my best night, but I'll revisit it anyways."
let me see. I want to take a look at this match and see if the crowd felt anything.
Oh. They did.
And then he's like, he's
fast forward the rest.
Fast forward through the Luger match.
He's like trash match.
This is garbage. Luger garbage. And then he gets to, he's like, wait, who's that? Hulk Hogan. He had a match earlier in the day. What's he doing out here? Oh, he's the guy with the title?
Oh, it wasn't Owen.
I should have been paying attention this whole time. I only pay attention to my own matches.
Yeah.
He lays it down to Hulk Hogan. He says, look, it's messed up what you did at WrestleMania 9. I don't like you. You keep on praising America. This place kind of sucks. We get anti-American Bret Hart 4 years early.
Yeah.
And whenever they go to Canada for these added value tours, he's praised, he's loved. He runs down Hogan.
Yeah.
He comes to the United States. He is hated, and he hates America.
Maybe Bret makes the case back then in 1993 that Hogan's been a heel this whole time.
Yeah. All these vitamins are all just chock full of bullshit. They're not really all that good for you. You should get natural vitamins, which is like plants and stuff.
When you take your vitamins, you're selling here. You pee most of it out.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever noticed how your pee is like a bright green, like a Volt? That's all the vitamins.
That's all the vitamins that your body is expelling because it only takes so much,
And Hogan, of course, like, listen to me, dude. But he's like into it because like Hogan backstage is like, yeah, let's go ahead and make this guy. He's gonna be the guy.
Yeah, he's the next guy. And Bret's like, you talk about drinking milk. Milk's full of fat,
Yeah, right, exactly.
Whole milk. You say you got to drink 2%.
Why does your face look so sunken in, eh? And then yeah. So what I guess Bret as the heel does. He deprives Hogan of his precious vitamins. Mm-hmm. He like steals all of his vitamins
and his whole milk.
He's like you gotta drink skim. Right, you gotta drink skim from now on. And so a depleted, sunken in Hulk Hogan,
even more sunken in.
He's just flapping skin.
Yes.
No muscle atrophy. It's like Christian Bale from The Machinist.
Yes, exactly.
Okay? He goes and he's all pale, sickened.
He tries to do like a hammerlock and he's exhausted.
So it's an easy day at the office.
It is.
He puts him in the Scorpion Deathlock. He snaps his ankle.
Stands over him, says, "Fuck you."
Yeah. So Hogan is done. I like it. It backfired on him. He's like, I'm down for this, brother.
Bret got the upper hand.
He did. All right. Next. Thank you, Queen Josephine. Appreciate it. I like that one. And I like that she added the brother at the end.
That's good.
Oh, this is kind of a more serious one. Jason Dwyer says, what if Triple H didn't have his cardiac event? Could he have stopped the wholesale change of NXT?
No.
So in reality, no. But what if, let's proffer this.
All right.
Triple H, he's fine. His heart's great.
Yeah.
He gets his 8 hours of sleep on the down low away from Vince. Mm-hmm. He gets like a Triple H lookalike to handle the hours where he's sleeping, but Vince wants him on the conference calls at 2:00 in the morning.
So every day before he gets his 8 hours, Paul Levesque goes and writes a memo to Triple H stand-in.
Yeah, right.
How many stand-ins does he have?
Oh, he needs at least two. One for the late night hours and one for the early morning hours.
So he goes for late night stand-in of Paul Levesque. Writes the memo.
Right, yeah.
Sends that off.
Yeah.
If Vince says this, do this. Mm-hmm. After obviously there's got to be significant training for stand-ins. So they learn the mannerisms.
Yeah, yeah.
And the philosophy of
if you're confused,
Paul Levesque Prime.
Here's the deal. Prime Levesque. If you're confused at all, just do this. Steph, hold on. I forget. Steph is calling me. Hold on, Steph. And then you get away, and then you could wake me up real quick. Ask me a quick question, and then come on back to.
Or refer to the stand-in Bible that Paul Levesque has penned.
Yeah, he writes up a stand-in Bible. And so, but maybe NXT still doesn't perform against AEW.
Yeah.
And so Vince McMahon is like, Is that appropriate now to do that?
How about that?
God damn.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
So instead, Triple H says, all right, listen up. This is the deal, Vince. This is the deal I got now. Before NXT, Triple H had considered the new developmental brand, and this is the truth. This is true. WCW. WCW. He was going to bring back the branding for WCW to replace WWECW.
Yeah.
So he's going to go from one failed late 90s promotion to another failed late 90s
Hoping
promotion.
for better results.
Right, exactly. And so he's just like, hey, Dad, here's WCW. How about this? You get to run this into the ground the way you want to see fit, because you did the invasion thing back in the day here, and that's largely considered a failure. And Vince is like, ah. And so he's like, here, Vince, how about this? And Vince is so intrigued with the idea of making WCW better than it was back in 98. He takes over WCW, rehires all the old names.
Oh, wow.
Flair, Hogan, Goldberg. He brings Flair out of retirement. Hogan, Sting. He's able to get Sting. He gets everybody. All the DDP. But the thing is, they're all like in their 60s.
They're super old.
And so it's just like blown out hip after blown out hip after blown out hip. Well, not Sting, because he's doing all sorts of crazy shit. He's the one guy.
Well, also he should call
franchise.
He should call like Mark Jindrak.
Get Jindrak back. Get Palumbo back.
Hey, Rey
get O'Hare
Mysterio.
back.
Rey Mysterio.
Ray Mysterio.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Triple H goes to main roster. He takes over main roster early while Vince is just, he's drowning in his, and WCW is just, it's doing terrible
It's
numbers.
a money pit.
It's a money pit, and it's terrible, and it drives Vince crazy. He gets out of the business early. Triple H has main roster. So it all, if he had brought back WCW, I think it's possible that
In the end, you would have had Triple H on main roster and then Triple H stand-in for the WCW.
exactly. Because standing at that point, he's like, oh man, I want to be Prime Levesque.
Yeah.
He changes his name.
Then you got a feud between Triple H stand-in and
It's
Triple
like
H.
Undertaker versus Undertaker.
Jason Bonilla asked, what if Shawn Michaels didn't take his hiatus? What if he didn't, after he hurt his back, didn't leave after WrestleMania 14 after losing to Stone Cold for the world title? What if he just stuck around? It probably would have been really bad.
Yeah.
Because it took him a while for him to address his issues after he left. It wasn't an immediate thing. And who knows if he would have had opportunity to address those issues.
You mean like the addiction stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If he hadn't left. So,
So you're thinking like in reality, he might have actually crashed and burned.
it's possible.
Anyways, okay. That could be. Let's say that he was able to, let's say Paul Levesque understood that his friend needed help. And he was like, listen, Sean, 6 months of 6
So
months.
you're going to get a Shawn Michaels stand-in now.
We're getting, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, Sean, listen, 6 months, 6 months and in rehab and you'll be good. Right.
Yeah.
And so he did, he's like, I had a great plan for you. So he sends his friend off to rehab, right, for 6 months.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're rehiring a certain wrestler from WCW to WWE. And instead of it being X-Pac, he's going to be HBK Pac.
There you go.
He's the new HBK stand-in.
Sean Waltman Michaels. Huh?
Sean Waltman Michaels. And he comes in, he's like, hey, I'm the sexy boy.
Tries to do the pose and all that.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, Shawn Michaels, you
shrunk.
shrunk.
Yeah.
You're a little shorter.
I've never seen HBK do a Bronco Buster.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So yeah, Sean
we go.
Waltman would have just
Sean
been,
Waltman Michaels.
and then HBK comes back and they do a HBK on a pole.
They do the
gimmick
they do
ladder
the
match.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
So that's perfect. That's
There we go.
awesome. Wow, that's great.
Stand-ins.
All right. Next.
Next.
This is from Obsidian. Says, what if WCW never hires Vince Russo, bro? Would WCW still crash and burn or find a second wind? I feel like it probably... I'll put it this way. I feel like the same result at the same time would have happened, but certain people would have been a little bit more sad that it was gone. Because I think that Vince Russo just made it really bad really fast.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is the dude that took over that department when the big merger took place,
The AOL Time Warner merger,
still didn't like
didn't want
wrestling. They still would have been hemorrhaging cash. None of that would have changed. Just we probably would have had slightly better creative during those years.
You would have had a more frustrated Kevin Nash trying to do all the creative on his whiteboard.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He would have been more burnt out.
Yeah, he would have been super burnt out.
And at that point, when he gets so burnt out that he's having such a hard time doing it, Kevin Nash stand-in.
you give Glenn Jacobs a call.
Glenn Jacobs a call. We got to speed run some of these because I got to go soon.
Asian Murr says, what if Steve's friend didn't drop out on the second week of college?
What if Jenny French didn't drop out of college? And so the story, of course, is she was a good friend of mine, and we took the astronomy class together that Larson was in as well, that we became friends at. But Jenny was like, hey, you know what? This really isn't for me. So she dropped out of the second week. I saw Larson down there. I was like, I'm going to go sit with him. And that's really where our friendship blossomed.
You know, but I think even if that hadn't happened, we were in the same social circles. It would have happened regardless, I think. Maybe just not as quickly.
Yeah.
You know, instead of having an hour and a half, however long that class was, 2 hours.
Listen.
Cracking wise, trying to make each other laugh.
This is what would have happened. This is what would have happened.
You would have found a Steve stand-in to come sit next to me. Yes. That's what it was.
Because I'd be like, look, I can't leave Jenny high and dry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe I don't want worlds to collide. It's not like we're dating anything. She was just a friend. But still, like, I don't want worlds to collide. So I'm like, I need to go find a Steve stand-in.
Yeah.
Send him down there.
Yeah.
And you kind of you didn't know me that well. I don't know if you would have known that it wasn't me.
I think I could have noticed a difference. Like, I'm there in class with you, and I go to Jess' house to watch The Simpsons or something. It's like, wait a second.
Or like, what if Jenny drops out like after the first month?
And it's uncomfortable. I got Steve standing on one side, I got real Steve on the other. I'm trying to figure out who's who.
Who's who? Yeah, but we don't know each other well enough for you to have some sort of code word or something.
No, we don't. What would be the code word, of course?
Fidelio.
Yes.
Death Mask has this one here as our last one. Says, what if Karl Malone kept on wrestling and signed with WWF? He was pretty good.
I have no interest in seeing Karl Malone do anything, though.
Oh, that's right. He sort of turned out to be not great, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, maybe he gets to WWF and, somebody there realizes, hey, he's kind of a scumbag. So.
Karl Malone standing. I know where this is going.